Hi, in this third out of three videos, I would like to present the occupation lie from the Gaza perspective and to show you the real reason behind the lie. In a previous video called Villas and Palaces, I presented to you a lifestyle in Judea and Samaria that most likely you never knew existed. The same lifestyle is also found in Gaza that most likely you also never knew existed. If you only know Gaza from the news, you may not know that some areas in Gaza are quite beautiful, where people's lifestyle is quite advanced. You can see in this slide modern residential buildings facing the Mediterranean Sea, a 5-star hotel, and 1 out of 3 universities. Here too, government officials own luxury homes, although not in Gaza, but in Qatar. And they too laugh all the way to the bank at the expense of yourself as well as the people they govern. As in Judea and Samaria, here too, there are specific neighborhoods in northern Gaza designated to poverty, propaganda, and terrorism. In those neighborhoods, artillery and terrorist pods operate from schools, hospitals, and residential yards, and in those areas, restoration supplies that are sent to Gaza are used instead for constructing terrorist tunnels into Israel. As for the occupation lie, there are still many people in the world who believe that Israel occupies Gaza in spite of the fact that Israel left Gaza in 2005. Many people are also not aware that upon leaving, Israel gifted Gaza an enormous agricultural enterprise in order to boost the economy in the poor neighborhoods. But Israel misunderstood the purpose of the poor neighborhoods, and the Gaza government burned it down to the ground in order to keep the designated poor in poverty. Still today, Israel supplies to Gaza electricity, water, internet, humanitarian and hospital services free of charge, in addition to job opportunities in Israel, all of which Gaza didn't have when under Egyptian control. As in Judea and Samaria, here too, the deplorable living conditions when under Egyptian control were a non-issue in the world. There were no demonstrations and no one cried occupation. Opposite of what Israel does for Gaza residents, Egypt completely disconnected itself from Gaza. Egypt created a huge buffer zone separating itself from Gaza, blockading Gaza to the point of cutting off all connections, to include between family members who were on both sides of the border. There is currently only one gate between Gaza and Egypt, and movement through this gate is possible only for high officials. The Egyptian blockade of Gaza is completely impenetrable, and there is no coming and going as it is daily with Israel. In order to create the buffer zone, Egypt demolished the homes and the farms of thousands of families, many of which were moved to the neighborhoods designated to poverty in northern Gaza. But the Muslim anti-Semitic machine that doesn't miss any opportunity to bash Israel is completely silent about the Egyptian blockade because Egypt and Israel are treated by two different standards. What you also might not know is that in 2007, only 2 years after Israel left Gaza, the terrorist organization Hamas that originated in Egypt overtook the Gaza government by force and still runs it by force today. The anti-Semitic implications of this government is that Hamas' core purpose of its existence is to obliterate Israel from existence, according to the Jihad Holy War dictates. This government exploits and abuses segment of its own population to fight this war, as the world remains silent. The Hamas Charter says, Palestine is an Islamic land, and since this is the case, the liberation of Palestine is the individual duty of every Muslim, wherever he may be. By Palestine, they don't mean the British mandate for Palestine, but Israel. Notice that the subtitle of the map on the left corner of the slide says the word unjust occupation rather than illegal occupation, and Muslim land rather than Palestinian land. This is important to notice because it reveals the real reason for the occupation lie in general. What it reveals is that not international law, as they want you to believe, but religion is the reason for crying occupation. What we can learn from Hamas mission statement is that it is unique to Islam, that Muslim land is a religious designation to a land. This is not about the claim that Jews stole land from Muslim landowners, but the Jews stole land from the Muslim God. What makes the claim even more grievous is that the people who own the land of Israel are not just any infidels, but Islam's sworn religious enemies, the Jews. Every religion in the world is believed to have the solution to the upcoming fall of civilization, but none of them includes land ownership as part of the solution, as does Islam. The Muslim narrative asserts that land ownership is key to the solution because it determines who controls whom and who is made to be subjugated to whom. There can only be a utopia on earth when all land is controlled by the Muslim God and when only Muslim feet walk on it. The Muslim utopia cannot happen as long as there is any land in the world not in the hands of the Muslim God, nevertheless, land in the hands of the Jews. Israel, being an independent Jewish state, rudely negates the Muslim utopia and, more importantly, impairs the image of the Muslim God. The Jihad Holy War dictates that this must be corrected by any means, at any cost, for as long as it takes. From a Muslim religious perspective, Jews being free and independent in their own land is a slap in the face of Islam. Therefore, the Jihad Holy War against Israel, where Jews are in control of their own destiny, must continue in order to bring about the Muslim utopia. There are two things to learn from the Hamas mission. One, religion is at the very core of the occupation lie and the real reason for it. And two, the purpose of the face value clashes we see daily on the screen called Israeli-Palestinian conflict is to hide the jihad war from you because most likely you would object to it and funds that the anti-Semitic officials collect would stop coming in. When the current leader of the Palestinian Authority said, "We don't want the Jews to defile Muslim land with their filthy feet," He made it clear, as clear can be, that the occupation lie is not about anything presented to the world as legal, political, historical, or humanitarian issues. It is about a religious understanding rooted in the Muslim narrative. What you may want to consider is that it could be only a question of time before this Muslim narrative comes knocking at your door. If you didn't know, now you know. Bye.